2-1 to Monaco then. Hansi Flick suffering his first ever defeat as a Barcelona coach in a competitive game. They were outplayed throughout the tie despite Lamine Yamal's effort. As you welcome in, former Barcelona player Luis Garcia is with us. Luis, in the end, how much do you give them the pass because they were down to 10 men for 80 minutes, or how much you're expecting more from this side despite the fact they were a man down?
Yes, Dan, it is difficult to analyze it because you leave your team with just 10 men, just 10 minutes after the game, and kind of the whole plan that you have against this Monaco side, it goes to the drain and you have to reorganize again. We saw Barcelona go into a 4-1-4-1 situation with one player that is not involved, so you're going to be late. This is a Barcelona who is built, or at least that's what Hansi Flick wants to do, built to press in the other half. And to have a good pressure, you need every single one of the players that are involved. And if you are one man down, you have to drag back a little bit, make a low block, and this is not the Barcelona we like to see. It's true that I saw the players a little bit tired at some points, arriving late to the pressure. Sometimes when they were on the ball, they were lack of confidence and missing a lot of passes. The pass from Ter Stegen, I think, is very bad, but it wasn't just the only one. He's been quite a lot during the first 45 and also in the second half. But even so, I think that we saw a very competitive Barcelona. It was until the last part of the game where Monaco started putting a lot more balls over the line of Barcelona, high pressure. And that misunderstanding, maladjustment between Íñigo Martínez and Garcia arrived the second goal of Monaco. But in the second half, even Barcelona, Rafinha in a couple of occasions had the opportunity to go and get another goal. So I think that even though it wasn't the Barcelona that we've been seeing for the past maybe month and a half, I don't think that they deserve it to lose today because the performance was good. But in the end, it's about what you can produce into the game, and there was not enough chances for Barcelona to get a goal. So well done, Monaco, for these 3 points.
Are we at the point where we got to question Ter Stegen's future at Barcelona a little bit? In the fact that this isn't the first time we've seen him make high-profile mistakes.
Yeah, but
I didn't have a good season last season.
I still think I know you're trying to make the case, Dan, but we're a long way away from questioning that aspect of Ter Stegen. And to that point, you get rid of Ter Stegen to bring in who? There aren't many better goalkeepers, even this version of Ter Stegen.
So you just stick with him because there's no one's better?
You stick with him because he's a damn good goalkeeper. That's as simple as it is. And even if you want to point on less return or not as good performances over the last 12 months, if you want to say, I still think there are not many goalkeepers any better. I don't think that there's another option for him. Listen, this is how Ter Stegen has always played. He's always taking these risks with passing out to the back. And when you do that, I think at times this is the risk you run. For all the successes that kind of football brings, you have to take some of the downside with it. It just so happened that it came on a day where Ter Stegen wasn't the only one who was found wanting on the day.
If he's going to take chances playing out of the back, which he does, and I know that this is the way that he has played the game, and that's the way that at times Barcelona want him to play because that's how break down that pressure that people or players are trying to put on Barcelona. I understand it. But you also, if you're Ter Stegen, you also have to understand what the player personnel available to you on the field on the day is. And so you know that Eric Garcia is basically covering a hole because of injuries, because of absences, because of personnel decisions made by the club. For example, Ilkay Gundogan, could he have been useful today? Yeah, he could have. Fermin Lopez injured. Frankie de Jong injured. Gavi injured. And so you start seeing Dani Olmo injured. And so you have absences. And so now Eric Garcia is put there to do a job. If you're Ter Stegen, the last person that you want to give the ball to in that sort of position with that sort of pressure on him would be Eric Garcia facing his own goal. He's a guy that is not naturally a midfielder. In fact, if I were Hansi Flick, I would not have played Eric Garcia. There's an option to go long beyond the pressure, and he decides to play this pass. That, beyond the poor goalkeeping, is just a really poor decision. And what you don't want to see if you're Barcelona fans is poor decisions that put you in trouble unnecessarily. So, and Ter Stegen, to your point, Dan, has been doing this more and more often.
What about Monaco's winning goal?
That was a goalkeeping mistake too, in my opinion. And listen, looking at this purely from a goalkeeping perspective, I kind of wonder if Ter Stegen is looking at who's coming through on him in Kenna, and just thinking that he's young, he's inexperienced. If I show him to my left, he's going to take that option, and then gambles and gets it wrong. Now, without question, and as to Ali's point during the highlight, get the right position and stand your ground. Make the striker beat you.
Right.
But then, again, and I am wondering if it's because he recognises who's through on him. Young player, a little bit inexperienced, maybe caught in the moment, and you're thinking, if I show him the big side of the goal, he's going to take it, I've got him covered, and then all of a sudden, he does otherwise. But for me, even with that explanation, even with that as an understanding, that's one that, as a keeper, you have to take responsibility for.
He's been phenomenal over the start of the season, of course, carrying that form in which really he caught the world's attention in the Euros. And this is the sort of goal that we're just going to see him score time and time again, because it just seems so difficult to defend against.
Yeah, exactly. And it reminds us a little bit about the start of Lionel Messi, these kind of movements, arriving from the right side, starting getting to the diagonal to the middle, and waiting to see what the keeper is doing. And like you said, it's very difficult to analyze what is he going to do, because we've seen him bending into the far post and getting inside to the near post. And in this occasion, with the grass that is quick and the ball just speed up as soon as it bounces, is the perfect taken. Near post and one goal. Fantastic, Lamine Yamal once again.
Yeah, it's incredible. Look, obviously, Ansu Fati coming in. He came on, actually, as a substitute in the second half in this tie. We mentioned as well, Iñaki, of course, scoring, becoming one of the youngest scorers ever in the Champions League. Ali, I think what's so interesting when you see Lamine Yamal do that, we all know he's going to do it, yet there doesn't seem to be a way of stopping him from producing that.
And so, of course, when you think about a player that you know what he's going to do and then finishes in the manner in which Lamine Yamal did today, and it's a left-footed player that comes from the right-hand side that played for Barcelona, of course you lean in the direction of Lionel Messi, and that's when we have to be a little careful. What I liked about Lamine Yamal's goal today is that for some time over the last season or so, you would see Lamine Yamal in this sort of position, and he would sort of defer the responsibility to somebody else. And there was a pass available to Robert Lewandowski for Lamine Yamal. And I think a less confident, less sure of himself player would obviously say, well, here you go, Robert. Here you go, Louis. You take it on. To see Lamine Yamal see the pass, but recognize, you know what? I'm on my left foot. I'm top of the 18-yard box. I don't need to make an extra pass here. I'm going to believe in myself, in my skill set, in my own experience, and in the fact that I can bring goals to this team. Not just assists, not just being an impactful player. I can bring goals. That confidence to see him scoring goals is what I think takes his game to the next level. And then we can have the conversation about potentially this guy being in the path of Messi.